Hey college and career success, welcome to week 4. We are now at the end of this week officially halfway through our summer semester already. So I just want to say, you are rocking it. Honestly, this class is submitting their attendance on time. You're getting all your work in. Honestly, it's one of the best summer classes I have had in quite some time. So little pat on your own shoulder there. Kudos that you guys are doing amazing. So let's go ahead and take a look. Week 4, we're going to be in chapters 5 and 6, so if you have not already, I encourage you to go ahead and watch the chapter 5 lecture and the chapter 6 lecture videos. Those will cover the content of the chapters, or make sure you spend some time in the textbook, in the chapters, the PowerPoints, something. Just make sure you're familiar with the content of the chapter. So we're going to go ahead and jump into week 4. And you can see that this is back to like a normal week, if you will. I know week 3 was a little bit different since you only had one discussion board. This is a typical week. You're covering 2 chapters, which means you have 2 discussion posts that you have to do by Wednesday for week 4 attendance. So make sure that you do your chapter 5 and your chapter 6 original responses by Wednesday and respond to 2 classmates, and each of those by Sunday. This video will just go over the chapter 5 assignments. So let's go ahead and jump in. Week 4 assignments for chapter 5. There's that skills survey. That is, again, just like a self-reflection, kind of check-in to see how you are with the concepts and the ideas from this chapter. Here is your prompt for the chapter 5 discussion. Imagine you were given a chapter to read in your American history class about the Gettysburg Address. Write down what you already know about this historic document. So here's what I want you to not do. Don't Google it, unless you absolutely cannot remember anything. I mean, if you really cannot remember anything, go ahead and do a quick Google. But I really do just want you to kind of think through, out loud, obviously in the discussion board, what do you know about it? Do you know the dates, the significance, who made the speech, all of that? And just kind of think through. Again, if you need to Google search it to refresh your memory, that's okay. But the point of this is to walk you through your prior knowledge, because then you start to answer the meat of the question. How might thinking through this prior knowledge help you better understand the text? Chapter 5 is about reading and comprehension and prior knowledge and the reading process and all of these different things. So thinking through prior knowledge is a big piece of that. And so this is kind of making you put that into action. So write down what you already know about the Gettysburg Address, and then how, in general, how can thinking through prior knowledge help you better understand text? If you were to have to write a paper on the Gettysburg Address or take a test, how might thinking through what you already know be helpful? Right? So make sure you post that in your chapter 6 by Wednesday for your weekly attendance. Your chapter 5 assignment, you're going to have a couple parts to this. You're going to first read this article, The 7 Deadly Sins of Students. It's going to open up into a Microsoft Word doc. You can see here, it's not terribly long. I think it's an easy read. It's about 4 pages long, but I think it reads pretty quickly. So you're going to read this first, or print it out, read it in sections, use the reading tips I talk about in my video, The 7 Deadly Sins of Students. Then you're going to open up this PDF right here, and you're going to answer these questions. What is the author's thesis and where is it located? So the thesis meaning the main point. What is the author trying to really hit home with their readers? How would you describe their tone? What's their emotional feeling, and why do you think that? Do you think their argument is effective, and why or why not? What are the weaknesses? What are the strengths? Do you agree or not with the author, and why? If you were to write a rebuttal, what points would you make? Maybe think about the weaknesses. How would you address, maybe the other end of the argument? Because obviously it's the 7 deadly sins of students. How would you maybe go the other way and talk about a rebuttal? What are some of the deadly sins of teachers and professors? So when you're done with that, again, you're using this article to help you answer those questions. If you have questions on any of the questions, let me know. When you're done, make sure you save it, download it with your changes, and then you will go ahead and upload your files and put it in there like you've been doing the past couple weeks. So that is your chapter 5 assignment on the 7 deadly sins. And then finally, your chapter 5 quiz. So just a reminder, for your quiz, you are answering all the questions in 2 to 5 complete sentences. So question 1 asks you about, how lately it seems students are spending less time reading than in the past, but it doesn't really account for the time they spend on social media. So do you think you spend less time reading now than when you were younger? What kind of reading do you do? Does this, on social media, emailing, that kind of thing, does it differ from required reading in college? Do you think social media has a positive or negative effect on your professional life? Question 2 talks about preset ideas. Have you considered your personal biases? Do they affect what you choose to read and study, how you interact with people? Question 3, in section 5.2, there is a section allowing adequate time for reading. It says there are quotes from famous people. Select one of them and explain what you think it means and if you agree or disagree. So I'll kind of show you where that is. Section 5.2, when you scroll down, you're going to see this whole section right here has several quotes. You can see from Thomas Jefferson, Frederick Douglass, George R.R. Martin. So pick one of those quotes and talk about what it means and if you agree or not. Question 4 talks about Cornell notes, outlining, and content mapping. Have you tried any of those? Have you used note-taking apps? What is your experience? What method do you use for note-taking? And then question 5 is a modality choice. When you want to learn something new, how do you go about doing that? And then have you always done it that way, or has it changed over time? Again, when you're done, make sure you save that and submit it in your Chapter 5 quiz and Dropbox. All right, those are your Chapter 5 assignments. Make sure you check back so you can go through the Chapter 6 assignments as well. Thanks.